everyone. So for this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a lateral step down, or I'm also going to teach it. So a lateral step down is a great way to really work on the control of your hip and your knee together. So a lot of the exercises that you've already done are really about getting your quad to really work and function well. Like I've mentioned before, when you start to get knee pain, the quad starts to shut down. So this is also really great for if you're having hip discomfort, because it's all about the glutes, the hips, and the core working together. So what I'm going to have you do is, if you have a stair, go ahead and go to a stair. And if you have something to hold on to, I highly recommend it. I'm going to have him hold on to a foam roller for this. The goal is to eventually not have to hold on to anything and be able to add balance into this. For starting, I'd hold on to something. Another option is textbooks work really great as kind of figuring out what height you want. So this is a 6-inch step that we have here. This is usually what we start with in the clinic, about a 4 to 6-inch step. If you're on an actual stair, don't worry about your foot hitting the ground. I want you to go as far as is comfortable. If you get knee pain with this, I want you to check in with your form, try again, and then if you're still feeling it, please comment below, get in contact with me and let me know, and we'll figure some things out. But in order to do this exercise, find your step. Again, grab something to hold on to. And what you're gonna do is I'm gonna have you step on here, and then you're gonna slowly go to the edge so that one foot is off the edge. So for that, you're gonna want that on the side for you. Perfect, but not in the way of your foot. So what he is going to do, and I'm going to show you this from both angles, he is going to do like he did for, you learned for squats, that hip back type of motion, okay? So what he's going to do is he's going to pretend like he's sitting back in a chair, and at the same time he's going to keep his hip level, but you can keep this knee straight and let that leg go down towards the floor, and then back up. Perfect, and then back down. Okay, now I don't know if you can see, but what he's doing is what some of you are likely doing. When he gets to the bottom, I want you to think about keeping these two parts level. He's thinking so much about hitting the floor that this hip drops lower because he's trying to reach for the floor. So I don't care how far you get, don't worry about hitting the floor. I want you to go as low as you can, keeping that level, and then come back up, okay? So that's the first thing I want you to work on. And I want you to spend some time just working on that. I would do about 10 of these, just focusing on that, and do that for about 2 days. Now I'm gonna add in another component that I want you to focus on, okay? But I don't want you to feel overwhelmed with this. I want it to be manageable. So don't worry about working on A, B, C. Pick one thing to work on, and then add something as you get more comfortable with it, okay? So I'm going to have you go ahead and do that again. So same motion. Perfect. So his knee actually doesn't do it at this height, but what you're going to focus on is that your knee is pointing forward towards your toes or slightly outwards. If you were on an actual stair, you might be bringing it in so your knee collapses this way. Yeah, like that. Can you demonstrate that? So you can see his knee is now pointing this way and his hip jolts out. So now go ahead and do it the other way. And now his knee is forward, his quad has to work a lot harder, but his knee is in a better position to decrease the stress through it. Do you feel a difference with those? What do you feel?
It's more of my quad.
See? More of a quad workout. So I really want you to focus on those two things. One, keep your hip level, and two, keep your knee from going inwards. If you're on an actual stair and your knee is going inwards, as soon as it starts to go in, I don't want you to keep going. I want you to stop there and stand back up. And then when you go for your next turn, you're stopping right before it collapses inwards. The more you let it collapse in, the more you're reinforcing that that's okay. And I don't want you to enforce that for your knee. We want to teach your knee and your muscles the correct motion to keep it more stable and to get your muscles to really activate for you. So that's what I recommend starting with for the lateral step downs. This is a great exercise for stabilizing for walking, hiking, running, skiing, snowboarding, pretty much anything that's on one leg and anything that requires a lot of directional. So even if you're doing things like basketball or things that incorporate running type of things, this is a really great exercise. This is something we use in the clinic as a precursor to returning to somebody's sport. So work on this, get better at it. It's essentially like a single leg squat, which is another exercise. But it gives you some feedback and it gives you some things to really focus and work on. And I hope you enjoy. So I forgot to show you this from the side view. So this is what this is gonna look like. So first, I'm gonna have him do this without this so that you can see his foot. So you can see that he is going more backwards with his hip. And you see that his knee doesn't really come forward at all. It does a little bit, but it's not coming way over his toes. And that's what you're looking for. If your knee is coming really far over your toes, go ahead and do that. You're not gonna go as far back. And it's gonna put a little bit more stress on the tendon that's in your knee. And that's not the goal of this exercise, that's another exercise. So I really want you to think about sitting back, keeping your shin kind of in line, almost like perpendicular to the foot. Okay, now that's the lateral step down.